and welcome to the Law Simplified. I'm Shaveen Bandad-Nayaka. There are two partial truths that are often proliferated among law students, or prospective law students at that. I've heard this on a one-on-one basis from my fast track and masterclass students, as well as those of you who watch these videos and lessons on YouTube, as well as the other platforms the Law Simplified is proliferated on. Now, these two partial truths are as follows. On the one hand, the law is a lucrative prospect, or the career in law that you're pursuing would be a lucrative prospect. And on the other hand, that once you do law, the opportunities that are available to you are either in the form of a barrister or a solicitor practicing on your feet, as a corporate attorney or a lawyer that's behind a desk, so to speak, or conversely, as a teacher, as a lecturer, a professor of law at a university or an institution. Now, the reason why I consider these two as being partial truths is because on a number of occasions on this very channel, as well as the different platforms, I've shown many ways in which students are able to succeed in their academics and their later career, and how to strategically look at making the law work for you, so to speak. But having said that, there are a number of aspects of these two fundamental partial truths that people often leave out when they entice or motivate prospective students to enter the profession. This video aims to look at these two partial truths and try to show a different roadmap that you might want to pursue, and try to re-evaluate how exactly you want to utilize and leverage on the academics that you're pursuing, as well as your prospects for a later career as well. So let's begin with the first partial truth. Law provides a lucrative career. Now, by and large, this is quite true. Law, in fact, does provide opportunities for a lucrative career. But what is often left out is the fact that becoming a general solicitor or a barrister or just becoming a lawyer is insufficient to achieve the stratospheric successes that you have set for yourself. Yes, it is lucrative, but it is only lucrative as long as you find your niche. As long as you're able to carve out a specific area in the law that either does not have sufficient barristers or solicitors that are practicing in, or if you're quite lucky, an area that is booming, that is in demand in terms of attorneys and professionals in that area. So you might think to yourself, how exactly do you differentiate yourself from the pack? One fundamental way, and this is something that perhaps was not available to many students maybe a decade or even more so ago, is the ability and the vastness of that ability to specialize in so many different aspects of the law. For instance, depending on the university or the qualification that you've chosen, there are more specific topics that you can select, such as franchise law or entertainment law, or something that has come about quite recently, such as space law. These might seem out of the way at first, but the more you look into the specificity of it and the more you look at how niche they become, it's clear that if you want to carve out a specific area in the profession for yourself and thinking ahead, so to speak, this is the way to go. Now, becoming a successful solicitor or barrister in that chosen field depends on a completely different aspect that you need to inculcate or you need to leverage on in terms of something you already have innately, which is try and take on a passion that you already have and convert it into the perspective of the law. Now, determining how exactly you can succeed in that niche that you are interested in creating purely depends on whether you are passionate about the area that you're selecting or whether you have previous experience in that particular genre. So for instance, I often explain to students who have a passion for, let's say, music or media and the arts, filmmaking and so on, to try and leverage that passion and that know-how by putting in or substantiating it with selection of topics such as entertainment law, franchise law, intellectual property. Because once you go out of your academics and once you have that qualification and the specialization that you've taken on, you will be invaluable to that particular industry, not just because you are well versed in the law that pertains to that industry, but also because you have a passion for it yourself. And you'll be able to understand the jargon, you'll be able to empathize with artists, you'll be able to empathize with the industry as a whole. Something that is often missed when you have a general practitioner of the law. So that is the first partial truth and the caveat that you need to keep in mind when you're getting into the profession. Try to leverage on a passion that you already have in order to not just succeed, but also achieve the stratospheric successes that you've set for yourself. The second partial truth is that once you finish your academics in law, there's essentially three paths that you can take. One being the general solicitor or the barrister, the other being a corporate attorney or a corporate lawyer, or the third being that of a teacher or a lecturer. But this is not essentially accurate, at least not in the 21st century, not in the contemporary world that we live in. The reason why I say this is because you see a plethora of legal professionals who have endeavored to go on to professions that might not even require them to flex, so to speak, their legal muscles. The reason why I say this is, again, stems to the fact that, as I've often said, a law degree is less about what you know and how you think. And there are organizations, institutions, and communities that value that thought process over just simply being able to argue a particular point. So you see a lot of legal professionals who have created a tangent for themselves and gone on to other fields and become entrepreneurs, for example, or even within the legal profession moved on to the judiciary, becoming judges, and going on to state sector and community development projects. So it's not just the seminal aspects of becoming a barrister, becoming a corporate attorney or a corporate lawyer working behind a desk, or even a teacher that is left for you in terms of a legal career. You could actually leverage on your abilities to think and the qualification that you've gained and go on to other areas of management, entrepreneurship, and so on. Right. This is a quick video to outline two of the partial truths that are often proliferated to law students. The reason why I consider these as partial truths is they are only possible if certain other aspects fit, if the stars align, so to speak. I often try and quote to my students something that Wayne Gretzky has once said, which is, don't go to where the puck has been, go to where it's going to be. In other words, don't flock to where the current demand is and where it's saturated as such. Look at where the demand is heading. Look at what sort of elements and what industrial trends are taking place and what has a dearth as opposed to abundance. And try and align yourself in terms of your academics, in terms of your interests and passions, and you'll see that at one point when you do reach that goal, that you will achieve the stratospheric successes that you want to achieve and that you've set for yourself. That being said, until the next time that we meet, have fun, stay safe, and as always, obey the law.